It's been a 2-week hiatus. Welcome back to our podcast, Off Topic with Tim and Matt, where we always go off topic. And I just got back from a epic road trip down to California yesterday, where I took in the Oregon Ducks, taking on the University of Maryland Tarpons, which I think is a turtle. That's their mascot. And we have a video of that. We're going to show it at the end of the day, end of the cast today of the team coming out of the tunnel. It's pretty sick. It's pretty cool. But first, we want to talk. There's Grey Cup coming up.
Yep.
And I've been out of town. So when's Grey Cup? When is it?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Sunday, yeah.
Argos, Winnipeg. Should be East meets West.
It's going to be an epic battle, that's for sure.
Should be very good.
Two of the strongest teams.
Yeah.
You know, Winnipeg should have been there last year, wasn't.
Yeah.
And then in Toronto, once again, they got upset by Montreal last year.
They got pounded by Montreal last year. And it was a tighter game this year. I didn't see it. I was out of town.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, they don't show CFL on the highway when you're driving up from California. But first, you want to talk
we got to talk about the La Dodgers.
There you go.
The Dodgers vanquished New York in total. I mean, I think since the last time we talked, they dispensed of the Mets quite handily, went up against New York. Now, game one was a battle.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I thought this is going to be a great series.
Oh, unbelievable. They 2-2, they go to extra innings, top of the 10th, the Yankees manufacture a run. And then, here's the funny thing is, my wife's like, we need to go across the line to go to Costco on Friday. I'm like, it's game one of the World Series.
Really, honey?
But we need to go. It's game one. You can sit in the car and watch it on your phone. Okay. Fine. But I get down there, and our Shaw-Rogers stuff doesn't work across the line.
Oh.
So I've got it on ESPN radio, and I've got the game cast, like the little diamond, and you can see what's going on my phone, right? So we're listening to it. We get to the border, and it's tied.
Yeah.
Right? We're in the border lineup, and the Yankees go up at one. I'm like, and she's like, just calm down. We're going through the border, right? And then we get through. We're at the lineup. The Yankees are up 3-2. The Dodgers are about to be up to bat.
Right.
The lady's like, have a nice day. I'm like, thanks. Bang! Straight home, right?
Smoking up the tires.
And as we're getting home, the bases are getting loaded. Or they had two on. They had two on base,
They're
right?
Getting there.
They're getting close, right? And then they get, we get there, and Shohei's going to be up to bat. Right? So I'm out of the truck. Into the garage, got my iPad on, right? And they're changing pitchers. My wife's like, are you going to help me unload the truck? I'm like, nope, I am not. And then they're changing pitchers, so it goes to commercial. So I run over to the truck, everything in one load, bring it in, dump it in the kitchen, back to the iPad, right? Back to my TV. And Shohei gets up to bat. First pitch, he hits, and it goes foul.
Right.
But the guy catches it. Miraculous catch.
Yeah, over the wall, falls in. Yeah.
Falls in the whole 9 yards. Because he took it out of bounds, the runners go from first and second to second and third, right? So
he caught it out of bounds.
So we caught it and then carried it out of bounds. So taking the ball out of play.
But it was a foul ball.
It doesn't matter. He took it because he caught it. It became a live ball. And then
he caught it live and it went out of. So they were able to tag.
Yeah.
Well,
no, they get the base because the ball went out. He took the ball out of bounds.
Was not aware of that.
Yeah, if ball goes out of bounds, you advance a base. So if you throw from second to first to try and get the guy at first out, and it goes over his head and into the stands, the guy automatically gets second.
Yeah, I know that part, but I mean, it's a foul ball. You catch a foul ball, it's a foul ball. You're out.
But then he took it out of bounds because they had the opportunity to tag. Because he caught it. No.
Fair.
When he catches it, makes it fair.
Yeah.
Now the ball's live. They can tag and run if they wanted to.
Yeah, okay.
So then when he carries it out of bounds,
they
get,
they can tag. Okay. They don't automatically go. They can tag.
No, as soon as he carried it out of bounds,
so if I'm standing at third base and I catch a pop fly and I go out of bounds, they automatically advance the runners?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had no idea this rule existed.
Yeah, if you catch the ball, if you're running through foul territory, you catch the ball, the runners now have the option to tag up and run.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you keep going and go out of bounds, they get awarded a free base.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because they took the ball out of the field of play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not out of the foul line, into the stands.
Into the stands,
Okay,
out of the
okay.
field of play.
The field of play.
The
It's over
foul,
the wall,
the foul
above.
zone is still live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
so they move to second and third, right? And Otani's out, and they walk Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Which is a good idea because Mookie Betts has been hitting a ton in the playoffs.
And he's clutch.
He's clutch player, just phenomenal and whatnot.
And if Freddie Freeman has a bad ankle.
Has a bad
And
ankle.
he hasn't had an extra base hit in 2 months. It's a bad ankle.
Yeah, and he's had
Strategy.
They're going to get to Freddie. And they got 2 out,
Yeah.
right? They got 2 out. So, I mean, like, why not? That's a good call, right?
Wrong.
First pitch. Boom.
That was so exciting.
And it was funny because at that point, like, I'm watching this all happen. And I sat down. My wife comes and sits down. And she starts talking. And Freddie hit that ball, and the minute he hit it, I knew. And I was like, yeah! Scared the crap out of her. She just almost fell off her chair.
Like, people do this. They walk in, oh, why? Is that like a game or something? Why you're reacting? Like, of course I'm reacting. My team's in a grand slam.
First walk-off grand slam in Major League history.
That's crazy.
In a World Series game.
That's wild.
Wild.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to hit a home run the next three games. Like Freddie Freeman, like he was the MVP.
Yeah.
And he won the MVP trophy.
Go back to last year and into this year, he hit home runs in 6 consecutive games.
6 consecutive World Series games.
That's amazing.
Did not hit one in Game 5 where they won it.
Yeah.
But,
however, still got a double. He did well. Did great. My biggest takeaway from it was the fact that Dodgers won it effectively without Shohei.
Yes.
He did not play that well.
He did not play well.
He got on base.
Yeah.
A lot of walks. He did the small ball thing.
Yeah.
But they won it without the number one player. And of course, the irony was Judge and Shohei really were kind of invisible.
Yeah,
they didn't do much.
They were.
And Judge made that epic catch in Game 5 and then botched it. And I'm like, this game's over.
Well,
and then it just fell apart. Fell apart.
And that's the thing is, like, you talk about it, the series actually was close.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they won in 5, so it was 4-1, right? But the series itself was close. It was 3-2 in the 10th inning when the grand slam was hit.
Yeah.
The next game was 4-2. The next game was 6. They were all tight games.
No blowouts.
Game 4, Dave Roberts conceded the game.
Yeah.
Didn't have a starting pitcher. They had something like 40 starting pitchers throughout the year.
Yeah. They had a lot of injuries.
And in the end, they had 3.
Yeah.
Like the 3 people that could start. So they had to go to do a bullpen game, as they call it, right? And they just start with their bullpen and work it. But he used his short relievers. Yeah. So like the guys that come in and do like half an inning or 2 outs or,
left them in there.
And it left them in there. And they blew up.
Yeah.
And the Yankees got good hits. The Yankees is a solid team.
Yeah.
They got and they started to get back into it. They come to Game 5, and Flaherty, who is their number 1 at this point. I mean, he's nobody's number 1 on any team ever.
Yeah.
But at this point, he has to be theirs.
Yeah.
And he gets lit up for 5 runs in the first 2 innings. Yeah. Right. But here's the thing, and the announcers were talking about what the Yankees had to do in Game 6 to come back and win this World Series.
Blah, blah, blah.
The Yankees players looked like they figured they had won the game.
5-0.
And they're up 5-0. The Dodgers weren't getting any hits. Garrett Cole was just on fire, and he was doing a really good job. And then you come to the top of the 5th inning, and everybody says that the Yankees lost the game. The Dodgers didn't win it. I disagree.
Okay.
So if you watch the video. And I'm not going to pull it up and analyze it here word for word. Kiki Hernandez gets that base hit.
Yeah.
Great. The next batter hits that pop to Judge.
Yeah.
Right? But if you watch at the point that it hits his glove and falls off, Judge is looking at Kiki Hernandez on the base path because he's challenging him. Yeah. He's coming out and he's challenging him that he's going to run and try and get there. So Judge is thinking what he's going to do when he catches the ball. You got to watch the ball into the glove and then worry about it.
And this is why the Dodgers have to sign Kiki Hernandez.
Oh, 100%.
He wins games on stuff you'll never, ever see in the score sheet.
Well, and then
especially in the postseason. Regular season, he's kind of mediocre. As soon as that postseason starts, the guy's a machine. Yeah. He's a winning machine.
His baseball IQ, his base running IQ is off the charts because the next play is that hot shot to short. Yeah. Right? And that should have gone through. That shortstop made an unbelievable stop.
I was surprised it didn't go to first.
Yeah.
Get the percentage out of first.
Well, he figures it just goes to third. But if you watch, he throws it, the ball goes by, and then Kiki rounds out, and the guy loses sight of the ball. The third Chisholm loses sight of the ball as Kiki's coming in there, and it bounces off of him and rolls aside.
Kiki burns it like he's a road runner. So 5'10", short speedster, and he takes off early on that hit and run, and it forces the guy to make a split-second decision.
Yeah,
and it's the pivotal game. It's the stress and the pressure of that moment is magnified 1,000 times because it's the World Series. You got to win that game. Yeah, and he forced them to make a mistake, and then the whole thing just fell apart.
And then Mookie running to first. Yeah, this is why you don't he hits a dribbler to first, and instead of just oh my God, I'm out.
He's running it out.
Gone. He's gone right away. And then they miscommunicate. I mean, the first baseman is kind of tied up, can't charge the ball, can't come at it. Yeah. And the pitcher thinks that he's going to charge the ball and come at it and just touch first, and they're out of there. Okay. They don't, right? And then the beautiful thing after that, Freddie Freeman, Hernandez, right? Teoscar Hernandez, they get up to bat. They don't hit for the fence. No. They hit base hits to move two guys in. And Small ball. You're not swinging for the fences here. You need these ducks on the pond in. And it was just smart baseball that the Dodgers just kept coming at the Yankees. Yeah. Put them on their heels and then finished them off. Yeah.
Well, they broke. I mean, the second they screwed up at first base, it was over. Yeah. It was over. They couldn't recover. Mentally, they stood there and stared at each other and just said, what the hell did we just do? Yeah. We just lost the damn game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And you give the Yankees credit. I mean, they kept coming. They kept coming. But the Dodgers powerhouse, and I mean, it was the same thing in San Diego. Dodgers won game one, lost the next two. And it was the second or third inning of game three, that they just came out and said no more and did not allow another run after that. And just kept pouring on the hits. Yeah. The Mets. The talking heads were about the Mets, the magical Mets, how they were out and now they're back and they're just on this run and they're going to be so magical. And the Dodgers were like, no, we're not having none of that. Yeah. And they just keep coming at you. And you look at the lineup from top to bottom, you start with Shohei Ohtani, and then you go all the way down the order, and it's MVP.
But a lot of guys, Max Muncy did not hit for average. Kiki Hernandez did not have a big average. But look, Shohei didn't have a big
Max Muncy set a record for getting on base.
He got on base.
14 in a row. Yeah. He set a record for the playoffs.
He got on base.
Mookie Betts, no, he wasn't hitting like he usually is, but he was getting on base.
Yeah, he was up to close to 300. He was hitting really well.
Yeah, he was hitting. Yeah, he was hitting well, but he was getting on base. Tommy Edman.
Oh my God!
Anybody know that name?
Nope. He won the MVP of the ALCS.
The NLCS,
and then still had a pretty solid season. And,
So it was a lot of fun.
Pat Borders.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. That's for sure.
All right. Now, Grey Cup.
Grey Cup.
I was on the road for both weekends of the Grey Cup.
So
touching my puppy in my heart. So I did not see a single game. I have no idea what happened.
So week one, Toronto beat Ottawa, Saskatchewan beat BC, Winnipeg and Montreal both had byes. Okay. Right? So they had that week off. Come into Saturday, Toronto, who didn't have the bye, beats Montreal, who sat for a week. Yeah. Saskatchewan lost to Winnipeg, who did have the bye. Yeah. So, you got an argument there. Does that week off hurt or help? But I always find that you get a week off like that, it helps to let the bumps and the boo-boos kind of heal up a bit.
Decompress, refocus.
Yeah. But also, you get a team like Toronto who put up 58 points on Ottawa. Yeah. And then 30 on Montreal. You're firing on all cylinders, and you just keep firing,
Sometimes it clicks. And then what happened to Chad Kelly?
Broke his ankle at the end of the
game. I don't like Chad Kelly. He's a spoiled rich kid. He's facing sexual assault allegations in court. He's had the same problem in college. He got kicked out of college, had to go to JUCO for a year and recalibrate. So this is kind of something wrong, but broken ankle, it still kind of sucks.
It does. You feel for him, and I mean, I think that you hear enough of the bad stuff. Yeah. But then you see that he's still got the support of his team. Yeah. He's still got the support of organizations. He's got people that are trying to get him on the right path. Yeah. So you wonder how much the bads inflated and the goods just not talked about.
Yeah.
And in lots of scenarios in life, we get that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves dirty laundry.
Yeah.
I mean, Don Henley said it best.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, he's atoning for it and he's moving forward. He's looking good in Toronto.
Yeah.
Until he breaks his ankle.
Until he breaks his ankle. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's coming up next Sunday.
Yeah.
Now the Okanagan Sun.
In Vancouver. It's here in Vancouver.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. My wife was down in Vancouver this weekend. They had a cousin's girls trip in Vancouver.
How exciting.
Well, they're all from other places like Duluth and the back
Oh,
east.
really? That's fun.
Right.
All right.
And so they go to like Arizona or San Fran. They do these nice little trips. And this year they're like, let's do Vancouver. My wife's like, oh man,
it's raining.
It's raining. They were talking about Nashville, and then they flipped to Vancouver. And she's like, I'm going to Tennessee. I'm like, good luck, honey.
All right.
Yeah. So
Okanagan Sun.
they lost the national championship, but they got to the national championship.
St. Clair Saints.
Yeah.
Where are the St. Clair Saints from?
Oh, St. Clair. I'm not 100%
St. Clair,
sure
Ontario?
on that one.
Could be the Prairies.
Ottawa.
Thank you. Okanagan Sun. God, they've had a good team, man.
Well, they had a really good team. They're undefeated this year. Yeah, Ottawa.
Okay. Yeah, Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa. They had a really good team. We saw them a couple times.
Yeah.
I called one of their games, and a lot of the times they're like, "Oh, people are like, Okanagan's gonna lose this week. They're down at half." They were a second half team.
Yeah.
They came out and I like the way that the head coach there has their players playing. They come out, they're very conservative. They run some plays. They don't show their hands a lot in the first half. They see what the other team has, right? And then at halftime, they make adjustments and just attack.
Yeah.
And they just keep coming at you. And I was like, wow. Like when we called the game, I think it was the first week of the season. They played Okanagan, maybe first or the second game. And I was really impressed with how they did that. And then I watched a few other games throughout the season, and just watching the stats on the board afterwards is that you see that they did the same thing. They came back, they let the other team come at them in the first half,
Right.
got the feel of them, and then just started pummeling.
Nice.
So, and
Nice.
obviously it didn't work against St. Clair Saints, but they made it there.
They made it to the national championship.
Good for them.
Pretty cool. Maya Turner, first woman.
Well, BCCFA Finals next weekend in Chilliwack.
Yes.
Let's not miss that.
It's not because we're going to be working that. So that's why we're not going to be here next week, because we're going to be at Townsend Park calling the game. We got Adam Pee Wee Junior Bantam.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a really fun day. I really look forward to
Adam's
it.
six-man tournament.
Yeah.
In the morning, which is just awesome to watch. I love
fun.
watching these little guys. And now that they've moved it to six-man and they've got the space on the field and everybody gets a chance, I think they're doing a great job with that in the Adams.
It's tough to call because I'm calling one side of the field and you're calling the other side of the field at the same time.
Yeah, it's
And
going
we
to be
haven't
tough.
called a single Adam game all year. So it's like I'm with my microphone trying to figure out who these little Munster pants are like beetling around.
Yeah.
It's very fun. It's very, very fun. And there's 4 games going on at once, right?
2 at once.
2 at once.
4
okay.
teams, 2 at once.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there'll be a bunch of games. There's like a round robin, and then their championship game will be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
It'll be fun.
It is a very fun day. It's a
Yeah.
long day of football, but it's a lot of fun. Come
Yeah.
out and support community football. Good old community football. I'm really overtired. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to what?
Maya Turner.
Help me out.
University of Manitoba Bison's kicker made it to the All-Star team. She's just been dominant as a kicker this year. Now there is Rihanna Lizuka out of Mississauga, Ontario, became the first female to appear on a U.S. sports football roster.
Okay.
Or U Sports football roster.
Okay.
But Turner, on the other hand, she hit a 25-yard field goal. She went on the field.
14 of 18 field goals.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yeah. So she's going to be she made the All-Star team.
Yep. Canada West All-Star.
And it's unbelievable. I think it's just phenomenal.
I mean, talk about helping the game grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you want the game to grow, you got to be inclusive.
Yeah.
And like to have that brilliant young woman booting those field goals, man.
Well, and I've worked with a lot of girls, females, playing football.
Yeah.
I mean, they play at a younger age because their brothers play or their friends play or they like football and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's a constant of, well, you can do this now, but you're not going to get any further. You can do this now, but you're not going to get any further. And the girls listen to these people. right? And I've know young ladies that should still be playing football. And I like the fact that there was a women's league here, but then they made it a lingerie league. Like, come on, that's stupid, right? Let put some clothes on and let them play football like they're football players, because that's what they are.
They're athletes.
And if you want to do a women's league and a men's league like the WNBA and the NBA, I'm go right ahead.
Yeah.
But a lot of these women that get out there can play with the best of them.
Yeah.
But they're told they can't.
Yeah.
And then they believe it.
I know.
And what I like about Maya Turner and Rihanna here is that they didn't listen to that.
No,
they said, "Screw you! I want to do it. I'm going to keep trying."
Yeah.
And
part of the problem is that when you get to junior bantam, the boys do get bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
Overall.
But
there's still enough women in there that they can compete and they can hit and they can take the hits and they can make the catches.
Yeah.
And it is too bad that But
Yeah, you know what? Instead of discouraging them, encourage them.
Yeah.
Push it as far as you can.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you got a dream, fight for it until your dying breath.
Yeah.
So, and Maya Turner, I applaud you. Right away, I applaud you because you didn't listen to the naysayers. No. You just kept going.
Look at that.
So
awesome sauce. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you want to talk about Tom Brady?
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God, Tommy. I watched the game yesterday where he was doing the Tampa Bay San Fran game.
Okay.
And he was doing the color commentating for it.
Yes.
Right? And everybody, Tom Brady was going to move up to the booth and everybody's like, well, how do you think he's going to do? How do you think he's going to do? Right? And people had their opinions and whatnot. I have never met or listened to a game with such a qualified technical, just rips every play apart technically in the color commentating. I was on the edge of my seat.
He is. I started doing the Giants games about 11 years ago because we've been doing it for 10.
Yeah.
And I kind of got voluntold into it. I was announcing at the game and having some fun announcing because, public speaking is what I do. And Wayne Bjork comes running up, "Hey, do you want to come do Friday Night Lights?" I'm like, okay. Halfway through the season, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a 55-yard line. Why is that? I have no clue. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
And it takes time. Now, the problem with Tom Brady, he's TB12.
Yes.
So you love Tom Brady or you love watching him screw up and lose. He's like, just lose. Like, I can't stand it. You're good looking. You have the supermodel wife. You got to lose. Or you love the guy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So when he got into the booth, a lot of people wanted to see him crash and burn. And when he started out, he was kind of okay.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do. But I knew, listening to him, was like, you know what? That guy's got a couple of inflections he's got to work on. He's got to get a little bit comfortable sitting in the booth. He's got to get comfortable being on TV. He's going to get a little rapport going with, who's the guy he works with?
Oh.
Top guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's going to find his legs and watch out. Now, the only thing he's done is gotten to share in the Vegas Raiders, Vegas Raiders, which complicates things.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he would just do that, but
because the amount of money he's made in his life, in his career,
he wants to put it somewhere.
He wants to put it somewhere, and he wants to put it into football. And
right.
And the Raiders were one of the only welcoming ones to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Where
Bob Kraft didn't want him to do it, which is kind of weird.
But Bob Kraft wants to keep his own empire intact.
Yeah.
A lot of the owners do, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Mark Davis was like, "Yeah, I'll bring you in, Tom."
Sure.
And it's a great idea.
Here's my wife. She's 26.
She's not that old.
She's 12.
But the tactical rip down of the plays was phenomenal. And for someone like myself, who's a very technical football guy,
right,
to listen to that as opposed to Tony Romo still calling the Chargers San Diego.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought he was one of the best color commentators I've heard in a long time.
I got a buddy of mine who's a full tenured prof in the University of Western Ontario. And Andrew, just to give you an idea, is an exceptionally smart guy. Skipped a grade in high school, did his doctorate by the time he was about 28. Didn't pay a dime in tuition, all scholarship, smart guy. And people talk about Mensa, which is like for the brainiacs of the world who can like solve the whatever equation when they're 9.
Yeah.
And Andrew always made the point, all that brain power is completely useless if you can't relate to anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And the brilliance of a Tom Brady, and I'll say a Barack Obama, is they can take something and make it so everybody can understand what you're talking about.
100%. Yeah.
So he can take technical plays for people that don't really understand football, and he can make them understand it, and he does it on the fly.
On the fly.
And that was the genius of Tom Brady. He wasn't a great athlete. He was a brilliant athlete.
Yeah.
His success was all up here.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so good. And, he had, there's a lot of things. Their O-line was consistent his whole career.
Yep.
And so when he called, he read the defense or the offense. Defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I drove 18 hours yesterday. The defense. He could see the adjustments. He can change it, call an audible, and his O-line just adjusted, and that's why he was so successful.
Yeah.
But it's the smarts. It's not talent.
It's the IQ. It's the IQ.
You play it the neck down, you win it the neck up.
Yeah.
And he's taken that into the broadcast booth.
I mean, he's a physical specimen. I mean, he's 6'4". Mm-hmm. He's very athletic. He,
keeps in wicked shape.
People joke around about his combine running the 40. How he's wearing khaki shorts and whatnot. I mean, that's not what people are looking at.
No.
When you draft a quarterback, you don't care if they can run a 40. No. Yeah, okay. You like the Jordan Loves and the Jalen Hurts that can, but you're talking about what's up here. Yeah. How do they command a room? Yeah. Right? How do people follow them? Right? And people talk about Baker Mayfield, who's now in Tampa Bay and having success. Oh. Right? In Cleveland, they threw him to the wolves. Yeah. And everybody naysayed him right away. Right, and they didn't give him an opportunity
or a team.
They just wanted to. They just watched him fail and said, "Told you so." Yeah. Right. He leaves there. He goes to the Rams on Wednesday. He has to start Thursday night.
Wins the game.
And Sean McVay goes to him. He goes, "Look, I got no expectations. Go out there and play football. You're a football player. Go play football." Yeah. And he goes, "Okay." And he wins the game, commandingly wins the game. Gets over to Tampa Bay last year, and does great. Yeah. Tom who, right? Yeah. And this year, he's on fire again. I mean, they ended up losing to San Fran yesterday. The field goal in the dying seconds. Yeah. San Fran was in the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. And they had him there. Yeah. So I mean, it's you don't want to be you don't want to be calling these guys dumb or bad or anything like that, because it's all up here. Yeah.
And his ability to focus. Like I've listened to a couple of podcasts with who's the little short guy, Julian Edelman. Yeah. And they're like, he could focus. Like his mom was going through cancer while we were playing. We had no idea. Yeah. He walked in there like it was like, hey man, game day, let's roll. Yeah. His wife was cheating on him for most of his career with her jiu-jitsu instructor, and nobody knew. Yeah. Because he was so locked in. Yeah. Nothing. Steve Jobs was another thing. Yeah. Steve Jobs, they call it his warped of reality or something. He could focus on stuff. The world is crumbling, and he's like, we gotta make a better Mac. You know what? I want the mouse to do this. And that was Tom Brady. His ability to lock in and just focus on what he had to do in front of him was unparalleled. And now he's in the broadcast booth, very articulate. Camera loves him. Yeah. Still enjoying his avocado ice cream and his keto, healthy snacks. I don't know why. Life's too short for that crap, if you ask me. Yeah. But he's bringing it and
locked in and focused. You could tell he's done his work before his broadcast. Yeah.
It was actually John Madden. John Madden was the one that changed sports broadcasting.
Yeah. And I show up at the park. We're going to do a game. My homework or my pre-work is I get a hot dog and watch the teams warm up.
Who's playing?
Yeah, who's playing? Let's see the teams warm up. Mind you,
we don't have scouting reports.
No,
we're not going to go to the practices and talk to the coaches. We have full-time jobs. When it's your full-time job to do this, that's what you do. Yeah. But and we're out there having fun, and the kids are having fun, and that's the whole point of what we do. So
exactly.
Okay, so what's next? Chargers.
How about them Chargers? Won again yesterday. Really well. They're doing really well, but their defense is the thing that's doing it. I mean, they're number one in points against. Yeah. Before yesterday, it was 11.2 per game. Yeah. They're giving up. And yesterday, they only gave up 17 points, right? And it was a garbage time touchdown that didn't matter, but it was only 10 points up throughout the majority of the game. And then the offense is finding ways to score. And this was a problem that they had last year, was that they get a bunch of points and then couldn't stop the teams, but their offense wouldn't do anything in the second half. Yeah. Here, This year, their offense is putting up 27, 25. You know, they're putting up points in games, and their defense is shutting the door.
Yeah.
So, you know, they look really good this year. The one of the games that they lost 15 to 17, 16, 17.
Something like that, yeah.
17, that's right, to Arizona. 5 field goals. They couldn't punch it in the end zone. Any one of those is a
Every
touchdown.
single game, every single team has a game like that.
Yeah, and then, you know, so I mean, they really should have won that game and been 7-2, but they're 6-3 right now. They're second in the West.
If you're above 500, you're going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
right. Keep it up.
KC's 9-0, and it's got to be the worst undefeated team I've ever seen. Like yesterday,
they just figure it out.
Yesterday against Denver, they lost that game. Right, but then the kicker for Denver kicks they're lined up, they're down by a point, they go to kick the field goal. Denver gets them in the field goal range, no problem. Kicker kicks it and right
at them,
right into the head of one of the linemen. You know, you feel for that kicker because that was all his fault.
I feel for the who did the Pittsburgh Steelers beat yesterday?
Oh, Washington Commanders. Oh,
they're down. Washington's down by a point, and they have to get the ball back. And the Steelers forced an offside on 4th down and 1, which gave them an automatic first down with 1 minute left. And then they just took a knee. And that poor kid hated him. He hated himself. He just bit. And he's like, the whole time, he's just like afterwards, he felt horrible.
So the Steelers beat the Chargers. They're one of the other team that beat the Chargers too. Similar, really tight game like that, right? Because the Steelers don't make those kind of mistakes. They stay in games. Their defense keeps them in games. Their offenses does enough, you know, and they make you make a mistake, and then they get at you, right? Washington was 7-2 going into that game. They led the whole game. They were up by quite a bit going into the 4th quarter, and the Steelers just kept coming.
You have to remember this. Do not forget this. The Washington Commanders have not done boo for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And the fact they're in the mix now, Pat Quinn built a brilliant O-line. They got that great young quarterback.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
That kid is the real deal.
Well, their offense is stellar,
and,
too.
you know, maybe it's the couple of things that, you know, here's the problem with the NFL right now. You know, Chargers are doing great. Steelers are doing great. Detroit's doing great. Buffalo. Oh, look. Kansas City. Like, no.
9-0, and it just keeps happening.
The only team I think that can knock them off in the playoff is Baltimore. That's the only team I think is going to have the dynamism, the dynamic offense, and just figure it out defense that can possibly take them. And I've always said the only way to beat Kansas City is with the clock. You can't let them get the ball with more than 2 minutes. If you can give them the ball and they have maybe 1 minute, and you can just, you know, like blitz and force them out of the pocket and eat up 5 seconds of play, and, you know, maybe an incomplete pass and keep the ball in so the clock runs. Maybe you can win, but I don't know.
Okay, so they're 9-0, right? In those 9 games, there is only 1 game that they won by more than 1 score, right? I mean, Ravens, they won 27-20. Bengals, 26-25. Falcons, 22-17. Chargers, 17-10. Saints, 26-13. And then the big one, they beat the 49ers 28-18.
Yeah.
That was their biggest win.
Yeah, 10
Raiders, 27-20.
It's unreal, man.
Buccaneers, 30-24. And all of these games, they're winning in the 4th quarter.
And then people say, well, they're not looking formidable. They're not a dominating team. They sucked last year. Like, they had a terrible first half They still won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They said you cannot count them out. Just like, okay, they have all these issues. They're still 9-0.
Yeah.
They're still winning. Their whole team is intact from last year. Like,
because what they do, what the Chiefs do, what Andy Reid teams do, is they play mistake-free football until you make a mistake, and then they pounce.
Yeah,
and that's Andy Reid football. Pat Mahomes has picked it up so well. And
they train hard. Their practices are hard. Like everybody talked about the way Belichick ran the Patriots. Andy Reid's doing the same thing with the Chiefs. Like it's
But it's not even that. They call it the laboratory.
Yeah.
Mahomes and Kelce take the receivers into the laboratory.
Yeah.
And they work on things like that, like little backhand pass that Mahomes does to Kelce as he cuts across and he's running the other way. Like they work on those kind of things. They fling the ball in the air and the receiver's got to get it while people are hitting them with foamies. Yeah. Right? Like they work on those kind of things because you never know what you're going to have to do to get it done. Now, the one thing I didn't like a couple weeks back, and I thought this was a and they ended up winning the game off this play, is Mahomes was running towards the sideline. Yeah. Got a first down, was running towards the sideline. The linebacker coming across could have lit him up. Yeah. Right? But nope, he's angling out of bounds. As soon as the linebacker pulled up, he turned it upfield. Yeah. Right? Now, that's good. That's smart play by Mahomes, right? But you get a penalty if you hit him while he's going out of bounds. Yeah. Right? But if you don't hit him while he's going out of bounds, he gets 30 yards. He gets 30 yards on you. So it was a little sneaky. So now the guys, the linebackers,
you're making a very big, strong, fast guy look bad. Yeah. And they're going to get sick and tired of it pretty quick. Mary Lemieux used to dive on penalties all the time. Yeah. And players got pretty sick and tired of it. Yeah. And he started getting injured.
And that's when he started getting hurt.
You got to be careful. You've got to be careful. Yeah. Like, you start embarrassing your teammates. You beat someone, okay, you make them look like a fool. Yeah. Guys get angry fast.
You want to talk about player safety. Yeah. You want to talk about injuries. You want to talk about, that sort of thing. Yeah. Then you can't be pulling crap like that. Because now these linebackers aren't going to hold up. No. They're going to just drive him.
They'll take the 15 yards. They will slam you.
Because it's half the distance that he's going to run on you. Yeah. Right?
Take a loss.
So...
Yep, there you go. All right, Chargers. Jason Kelce got himself in a bit of trouble.
Yes and no. So here's the funny part. Okay, he goes to Penn State. Yes. He's doing a college game at Penn State. Yeah. He's walking up there. People are saying hi. He's got a case of beer with him. Yeah. And that seems to be a big issue that he's got this case of beer. Whatever. He's an adult. Yeah. Beer's legal. And then this guy against me, he goes, "How do you feel about your brother being a
homophobic slur
dating Taylor Swift?" And he turns around and it just caught him off guard, and he grabs the guy's phone and throws it on the ground and smashes it. Yeah. And then the guy goes to get his phone and he gives him, he kind of shoves Kelce, and Kelce kind of gives him the body bop as he's bending over his phone. He's like, "Who's the homophobic slur now?" Yeah. Right? And then turns and walks away. It got broken up. He turned and walked away. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?" Kid never reported anything. No, not that he was assaulted or his phone was broken or any of that sort of stuff. Penn State security was right there, and they're like, "We're not looking into this. Please, we're not looking into this. Yeah. NFL, we're not even talking about this, right? Yeah. No one cares." ESPN, no. Yeah. No, it looked like that guy said something stupid, played a stupid game, and won a stupid prize. Yeah. Needs a new phone, right? Yeah. And then so Kelce comes on, he's doing Monday Night Football that week, right? And he starts off, he goes, "I want to address the incident." And he goes, I did not handle this right. I was faced with hate and I responded with hate. That is not the right way to address things. I need to do better. Yeah. And this is what I love about Kelce. He didn't bow to public opinion about you need to apologize, you need to buy that kid a new phone, you need to blah, blah, blah. He never apologized at all. He reflected on his actions and said, what did I do wrong in that situation? And I think if people did that more often, you wouldn't have these fake apologies on TV. Yeah. "Oh, I apologize for getting drunk and beating my wife." I don't want to hear your apology for it. Yeah. How about reflect on...
I want to take accountability.
Yeah, accountability. And he took accountability for it, and he said he wasn't proud of it. And this is, I really appreciated the way he handled that. Oh, yeah. I don't appreciate Facebook as like, "Oh my goodness, ESPN's doing this about Jason Kelce." No, they're not. They're not doing nothing. No.
So I worked in news for several years. Yeah. And part of the thing that when something stupid happened, people never own the narrative. Yeah. And it's PR 101, crisis aversion 101. You make a mistake, get up there and own it. "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." And you just own it. Bill Clinton with, Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's talk about the economy again. Yeah. And everyone would have been going, "Oh, well, what are you going to do about it?" "Well, I got to go tell my wife, but other than that, really not much. You know, if
Tell my wife.
you just said, I screwed up, people would have gone, well, he's right. He did screw up. So
Yeah.
Jason Kelce, now I've watched that video a few times,
Yeah.
and I've watched his body language. So when he's walking in there with his little case of beer, and there's some kid with his phone going who wasn't the person that made the slur, who had the phone going. And he has his fist out. He's like, hey, fist pump, fist pump. Jason Kelce looked annoyed.
Yeah.
He looked like he was in a bad mood.
Yeah.
He looked irritated.
Yeah.
He was irritated. And then some guy turns around and says some dumb thing about his brother. And of course he's going to react.
Yeah.
Like, he's provoked. You don't, oh, you got to be the bigger person. No. Like, why are you saying these things? He snapped. Okay. Wrong thing to do, but he's a human being. And he whacked some dumbass's phone. And now this kid, every time he looks at his new phone, he's going to think, oh, yeah, I got a new phone because I went up and called somebody a fag. Well, that's a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, you deserve to get your phone broken.
I never say violence is the answer.
No.
But the threat of violence kept us in line back in the 70s and 80s. Because if you said that about somebody's brother, you better be prepared to back it up. Someone was smacking you in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right? And now with the internet and social media, and you get these people on social media who just seem to think that their opinion needs to be listened to. And they say the stupidest things. They're mean. They're hateful. They're really. It's unbelievably bad. And then they go out in public, and no one's going to smack them in the mouth for saying it, so they can yell these things. He was probably irritated. He probably got a lot of guff coming in there.
Yeah.
Because these college kids who think they're the cat's meow are yelling these things at him when Jason Kelce could probably snap their necks, like I would.
You know what? And I still don't understand the Taylor Swift controversy.
There is none.
There's two people dating.
Yeah.
Who cares? Okay, she's the famous person in the world. Well, he can't help that.
Yeah.
She can't help it. It's her job.
He's one of the best football players in the world.
Yeah.
They're
their job.
Two famous people. Great. Have fun.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, Taylor Swift is ruining football because they keep panning to her. Is she working the camera?
Yeah.
You
She's the most famous person in the world.
Yeah. Is she working the camera? Yeah. Oh, what is she doing? Yay, Travis, right?
She's watching football.
She's watching football.
They've
Great.
Major League, we're baseball fans.
Yeah.
You don't think Major League Baseball was sitting there going, why isn't she dating Shohei? Like, it's a marketing gem. So anyway, Jason Kelce, I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, some kid who was the son of a diplomat in Singapore gets busted for breaking car windshields with a baseball bat.
Right.
Or some stupid thing. Dumb kid thing.
Yeah.
Well, in Singapore, they don't really let you get away with this. So that kid, his punishment when he got caught, he was going to get 30 lashes with a cane across his ass.
Yep.
I think the kid was a Canadian. So everyone seemed he was freaking out. Corporal punishment, there's the, spare the cane, spoil the child debate, blah, 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 blah. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, oh, God, smacking this kid in the head. This is terrible. I can't hit this poor kid. Some old codger calls up. He goes, want to know something? When that last whap hits that kid's butt, I bet you $100 he's never going to do that again.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Nailed it. Yeah. You do the crime, do the time. You will never step out of line ever again.
I got a spanking as a kid, right? So me and my older brother were little, and my grandfather he's going to take down the greenhouse.
Yeah.
We got this old dilapidated greenhouse in the backyard. He's going to tear it down, right? And we go outside in the morning, and we're like, oh, Grandpa's going to tear this down. Let's help him. We break all the glass. We were breaking the glass, right?
Throwing rocks through windows. Oh, my God.
We got a spanking.
Yeah.
Right? Rightfully so. We earned it. Rightfully so. I'm not yelling abuse to anybody, right? Besides but the threat of a spanking after that kept me in line, right? Because that hurt.
Yeah.
Right? I did something stupid, earned a punishment, got my punishment, learned from my punishment, did less stupid things going forward in life.
Yeah.
And with my kids with the threat of a spanking, right, kept them in line. I never had to give them one.
And you're not beating your kids every time they spill the milk.
No.
But sometimes they just push it right over the top, and they need to know, like, Oh,
Yeah.
and like whack, and I know, and it's and we live in an era of victim culture. Someone once
100%.
wrote an article about the fact that they're drowning in reusable shopping bags. They have too many, like people are complaining, they're stuck with too many reusable shopping bags. Keyword, reusable. You buy one and you keep bringing it with you to go, you don't buy one every single time you go grocery. Who wrote this article? This person's an idiot.
Well, now, okay, so I used to,
because they can't reuse a reusable shopping bag.
I go to the store. I used to go to the store, buy my groceries, and get those plastic bags.
Yeah.
Right. And I go home, and I had garbage bags for the next 2 weeks. I go back to the grocery store, buy more groceries. I got garbage bags, right?
Yeah.
For my bathroom garbage, for my shop garbage, for the kitchen garbage, even, right? I've got garbage bags.
Yeah.
Now, I can't find a bag to put my freaking lunch in the morning. I've been using.
I lived on my own, and I found myself with garbage bags. I'm one single guy in a basement apartment. And all of a sudden, it's like the monster that keeps growing. You put them inside each other, and you get the bigger bag. And I'm like, I can't keep all these. So I started taking my backpack grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I rode my bike. I loaded my backpack. So I didn't have any more grocery bags. Yeah. That's a reusable bag. I didn't buy a new backpack every time I went grocery shopping and then complain about it enough to get a newspaper article written about me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on my trip. I went to the Oregon Ducks.
Tim's epic trip.
It's this, not that. The Ducks. Okay, show my picture. Those are guys. Show me at the game. Throw the picture. Picture's up. Okay. So I went down to California to visit my aunt. She's getting older, Auntie Zoe. My uncle died a few years ago. She's in her 80s, and I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to see her in. And there's that other little controversy around wills and stuff, but no big deal. So I drove down. I've never been to a U.S. college football game.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go. And I kept telling myself, hey, maybe I'll go see a game. And I check it, and Maryland's in town on my way back. And I'm like, I don't know, do I go? I'll be tired. I don't know. And then one weekend, I'm like, I'm doing this. So for $108, I booked myself a ticket. And you look at the end zone, and I'll draw, like, here's the end zone, and there's the seats going up. I'm just off to the side like this. And I sort of find a ticket, and I went through SeatGeek, which went through Ticketmaster, went through University of Oregon. Yeah. So I paid too many service fees, and there's the exchange. But for $108, I get a seat, and I thought I was going to be fairly high up. And I'm on my phone, I'm all excited, and I'm driving back. I get to Springfield, because teams in Eugene and Springfield's on the other side of the highway, split right in half, I-5.
Right.
And I leave at 5 in the morning. I get lost trying to get out of Oakland because I ended up in San Francisco because the highway is really confusing at 5 in the morning. And even with GPS, so I get on the I-5. I get there about just after 2. Check into my hotel, take a shower. It's 2:45. How do I get to the games? Because the lady at the hotel's like, don't drive. No, don't drive. So turns out there's a shuttle at the Springfield bus station, 15-minute walk. So I marched over. They get there maybe about 10 minutes. The bus is about to leave, and I'm waving at the lady standing there with her clipboard. It's supposed to be $8. They let me on for free.
Oh, nice.
I open the door, and it's super sweet. I'm like, thank you so much. I didn't pay. Get on the bus. Don't worry about it. So I'm like, go Ducks, and everyone's like, I'm expecting like this collegiate, So I sit down. I'm going through Eugene. It's a bit of a dump, and I'm sort of asking the person, like, how do I get the bus to come back? Forgive me, I've never done this before. Don't worry, there's lots of signs. It'll be fine. Okay. I get to the game. I'm so excited. University of Oregon, 60,000 seat open air stadium, the great big green O. I get a hot dog, and I get a Pepsi, and I get a thing of M&Ms, and I'm, section 40, row 10, and I get in there, and I'm thinking I'm going to go up.
Yeah.
Because when I booked it, that's where I sort of looked. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm in row 10. He goes, oh, well, this is 30, so you're down there. I'm literally at field level. And I'm right there. I'm staring at the goalpost. I'm seeing the guys. There it is. There's me. And I'm doing a heart because I meant to do this, but I screwed up. Anyway, awesome experience.
Yeah.
What I found really interesting is it wasn't as rowdy and crazy as I thought it was going to be because it was all families. And Springfield, the Ducks are kind of a working man's team.
Yeah.
And the Huskies are kind of more of a Tony latte, apple teeny kind of environment, right?
Yeah.
It's fine with me. I don't care. So I'm sitting next to this really lovely woman with her husband. They used to have season tickets. Her dad went to Oregon, and I'm asking her a few questions, and she's answering. We're chatting, and she's very, very nice. And just Americans are so friendly. I love Americans. I don't care what anybody says. I love the United States. And I had just the best time. They had, the big screens. They have 2 screens. They're fantastic, state of the art, 4K.
Yeah.
They play this, I'm from Oregon, which is a country and western singer, wrote a song. Everybody knows the words. Everybody's singing along. Whenever the opposing team comes up, oh, the whole stadium yelling to try and distract them. It was so much fun. And, they march out all these students. I'm like, who are they? She's like, I don't know. First-year students getting on the dean's list. All of them marching them out.
Oh, no.
The men's baseball team won the Pac-12 Golden Championship something.
Yeah.
They're on the field. The women's track and field team did really well. They're getting honored. Veterans Weekend. Hey, here's Bob. Served in the Army for 10 years, came back, graduated from the University of Oregon, worked for State of Springfield Environmental Services. He's retiring. Thank you for your service, Bob. He's on the field. Big screen. Everybody's cheering.
Nice.
Third quarter, we got the Austin Sing-Along, Country Road by John Denver. Everybody singing. It was so much fun. Families, everyday people, working class guys, and they're all singing away, and they're guys looking back at the rest of the crowd. If you have a chance to go to a U.S. college football game, just go. It's so much fun. Yeah. And it's not drunk, it's not rowdy, no one's misbehaving. They're just having a good time, and I just loved it, and I totally want to go next year.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with you. I want to go. I mean, I want to go too. Maybe we should do a off-topic road trip. Wayne, road trip. Get in the locker room.
Yeah. We're going to show a video of how the team coming out of the tunnel.
Now, okay, I got a couple questions about your trip because you went to Oakland, right? Oh, and what's the atmosphere there with people with no sports?
I talked to one lady. She had her Raiders jersey on. I was with my aunt the whole time. Yeah. And I was just looking after Zoe. And she likes the 49ers. Yeah. And but there was one lady, she had a Raiders jersey on. We're at the grocery store. I said, hey man, Vegas, that totally sucks. She's like, I still go to the games. That is what it is. I go down to Vegas for one game, and then I go to Arizona for another game. Yeah. I got my 2 games in a year. They still it sucks. Yeah. But the people of Oakland are resilient. Unlike my voice, they don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. Yeah. And what happens, I'm going to go see my team. They're still my team. I'll cross the bay to go see Golden State. I'll suck it up.
My Chargers moved up to L.A. Yeah. Are you still going to root for them? They're still the Chargers.
Yeah, my Expos, Yeah. My Expos are in Washington. It's tough. It's tough, but you still... It's the dynamic of it, and you can't stop it, and you can't cry about it. Yeah. And no one likes a baby, so just deal with it.
And then the other big thing you were down there for
was the election.
What was the atmosphere down there? Because social media, Canada seems to be feeling very sorry for the States, but I don't think that's how they feel.
The day before, I bought a shirt, 2 tops at a very nice designer store for my daughter in downtown Oakland. Yeah. And it proudly displays 17 years in business, Black-owned company, right? African-American woman running it, sort of Arkansas. The sweetest person you've ever met in your life. Yep. I've gone into designer stores in Toronto and Vancouver and been treated like crap. Yep. Not there. Awesome. Yeah. And I said, you guys a little nervous tonight? Yeah, I don't want to think about it. I'm totally nervous. The next day, my aunt was beside herself. She couldn't believe it. Talking to people, they're like, I don't know what to say. They weren't crying about it, but they were just like, I did not see that coming. It was, the Democrats got outmaneuvered. I don't know what to say. They lost to a better team, basically. Yeah. As crazy as Trump is, they ran a better campaign. So,
yeah, it's one thing I noticed is that the West Coast stayed full Democrat.
Always. And that's the problem with the Democrats. They service both coasts. Yeah. Not the people in between. Yeah. And they got to figure that out fast. Yeah. So
and everything was talking economy and immigration.
That was it. That was what people were worried about.
2020, it was social issues that kind of pushed the envelope over to the Democrat side.
Yeah, barely.
But then people started having to pay for it.
Yeah, barely. Well, the issue isn't the cost; it's inflation. Yeah. I listened to a podcast, the Daily, 4 kids going Democrat, 4 going Republican. Republican were young men. And it's like, I can't afford to, I got a good job.
Yeah.
I'm a heavy equipment operator. I can't afford to move into my parents' house.
Yeah.
I can't afford groceries.
Yeah.
That's what they cared about. You know, they're not misogynist. They're not homophobic. They just want to move out of their parents' house.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, if you got enough money for a place to live, food in your belly, and a family vacation,
You're fine.
You're happy.
Yeah.
That's contentment.
Yeah, you can make your truck payment, get your 401k through work.
Yeah.
You're okay, but they can't do that.
No one's opposed to someone getting gender reassignment.
Yeah.
They just don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, and they can't. Why am I paying for Ukraine? Why are we putting money in Ukraine when I can't afford groceries?
Yeah.
I can't afford an apartment. Like, this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And that was the election. So
Yeah.
whatever.
So the atmosphere wasn't. It was.
I was expecting riots.
Yeah.
People were just disappointed.
That's why I was kind of shocked about that.
I was expecting like to hear protests and riots and nothing. They just went, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
But
I think they were disappointed with the job that was done in the last 4 years too.
it was tough.
Yeah,
You know,
it was.
I mean,
COVID.
COVID didn't make it easy. They had to pour money into the economy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a meme, a joke during the Gulf War. Hey, maybe the U.S. should invade itself, and then maybe our roads will get fixed. We'll get new bridges. Our schools will get done, right? Joe Biden started doing that, but inflation started going through the ceiling.
Yeah.
It came at a huge cost, and it should have been done, stuff that should have been done 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the Port Man Bridge that got done 10 years ago, that should have been done at Expo.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was 1950s infrastructure.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's I always make that comment. You know, like they're making it 3 lanes to Chilliwack now, the freeway.
Yeah.
When they needed that in '86.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so.
or transit,
yeah,
or something. Right?
something,
But
so.
you have to pay the money and blah, 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 blah. Now they do it when it's really more expensive.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. So, yeah. All right. That's us for
That's
Off
it.
Topic. My voice is gone. I'm going to have a nap.
And we got a video here that we're going to close it out with. Check out this video of Tim's
Nice.
epic road trip.
Yeah, it's the Ducks leaving, the coming out of the tunnel onto the field.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. You guys got to go see it. It's so much fun. All right. Cheers.
See you in 2 weeks.
Where we'll see
Oh,
you.
next weekend. Tune in. VBNsports.com on YouTube. You can listen to me and Tim talk while watching some really good football.
Well, we'll always go
Off topic.